Sudipta, and welcome to the show. As you know, this is a platform where we want to get women achievers, who we call women trailblazers, to share the stories of their lives with us, to tell us about their journey, the ups and downs, the struggles and challenges that they may have faced along the way, and also celebrate their achievements and successes. The aim is that women who are listening in, they get motivated and inspired and are able to break barriers and get out of whatever is holding them back to realize their full potential. And of course, eventually we want to build a community of women who are there to support, inspire, mentor, and be there for each other. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta. It's a pleasure being here. And I hope that my story adds value, inspires people, and I also get inspired from their stories. And
absolutely, it will. Like I believe that every woman's life is a story which can definitely inspire others, because we all go through the same set of experiences, so we can definitely learn from each other. Yes. So, okay, without further ado, let's get started. So tell us a little bit about your childhood and early life.
Well, I'm a Delhi person. I've been born and brought up. I'm born and brought up in Delhi. My parents are Bengalis, but they too have, been in Delhi for a significant part of their lives. I grew up in a nuclear family, my parents and my brother. And I went to an all-girls school. That was that. And I was an average student. I was not very good academically, but an unexpected thing happened. In my 12th, I did very well in maths, surprising everyone around, including myself. So then I did my graduation in mathematics. And in those days, I believe, you pursued the subject where you got maximum marks. I mean, there was no, that's how it was. Yeah. And so I again pursued mathematics. Again, I went back to being average over there. So somehow managed a first division, which I think now when I hear children talk about their grades, I feel it's a good thing I managed it then. I wouldn't have managed it now, for sure. So and another thing when I look back is I kind of grew up with this idea, because in those days, our academic worth determined our individual worth. Yeah. Which was a very wrong thing now, I believe. But I grew up with that idea that, okay, fine, I'm an average person. I'll do average things in life. But my parents, especially my father, believed, I mean, like all fathers, he believed that I had, I could do better. So he had his consultancy firm. So they were doing a lot of construction and consultancy work, building roads and stuff like that. Okay. So he was, and environment was really coming up at that time. We were getting environmentally conscious in 80s. I think national heritage sites, UNESCO had taken up Taj as a national heritage site, and Konark was coming up, and environment became a big thing. I mean, got a lot of traction in that decade. So we were venturing out into environment, and he said that, why don't you join me and learn about this? This is a completely new thing for you. Learn about it and see what you get. Okay. So I started, and so I started learning. I did somewhat of a post-graduation in environment, because that subject was not very common at that time, and institutes were, so we were more of researchers than learners. So we had to kind of go collect data, see what, information was also not that readily available and all that. So it was a very, very interesting time in my life, because I learned so much, and I realized that so much could be done. And so that's how I started learning about ecology and environment, and I did pretty well. I mean, our work was getting a lot of viewing in the global congress, like the World Congress of Environment had started around that time. So lots of good stuff. And so that's how I got into environment. And then what happened was that, after the initial stages, we were too young to know that there you go with this great idea, you'll change the world. But then economic models always were the driving force over altruistic ideals, I would say. Yeah. So there you had an idea that, okay, I'm there to change, conserve the Sundarbans, or I'm there to clean the Taj. So it should happen, but it doesn't happen like that. Now, with time, I've realized that there was nothing wrong in it, but at that time, it was very frustrating.
I'm sure.
So after the initial phases, what happened? The projects would get stalled and you would be disappointed. And there you are saying that, everyone is saying your detailed project report is very good, but we can't pursue, don't have funds. So all those things were happening. So, and like a good person, I used to come back home and vent my heart out to whoever was listening. So, and my younger brother, he was into, weight training and strength training and would go to the gym, and I would make him sit and rant my heart out. And the world is a bad place, this, that. And so finally, one of the days he told me that, you are wasting my time. Why don't you come with me to the gym and, do something about it? At least you can exercise and kind of handle this much better. So I went, and a different world opened for me, Samita. I can't tell you. It was a totally different world. I was the only girl in the weight training sections, and that gave me so much of respect. I can't tell you.
So you learning
also, and from people who were exercising. I mean, they found it a lot of respect they gave me for being the girl who was lifting weights and, pumping iron with them.
Okay.
So that got me interested. I started learning about weight training, nutrition, and all that. And again, that was a new subject because not much of information was available. At that time, internet wasn't there.
Yeah.
So you had to kind of, pull out biology books to learn about kinesiology of human body and learn what nutrition is doing and all that. But thankfully, I did well, and that kind of helped me to be a better person outside the gym.
Okay.
So that exercise, since I was exercising, my nervous energy would go over there. I became a better person. So that's how I got into fitness. And then when finally, after a few years, my brother opens a gym, I kind of worked with him, and that's how I came.
Okay. So tell me, as you were growing up, as you know, the children learn a lot from what their parents teach them. But along with that, they also imbibe a lot from what they see around them. So if you could go back to your childhood and tell us something about certain things that you may have imbibed and which have had an impact on the kind of person that you've become today.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing when I was growing up, one thing was there that I saw women around me. They were most of the women, like my mother or my aunts or whosoever, they were doing a lot of heavy lifting in the house, not just emotionally or physically, emotionally or mentally, but physically. So I would see my grandmother, working so much in the kitchen and lifting like heavy grocery bags and all that. So, but still, I kind of got a feel that we were considered weaker as compared to the men of the house. Although I would see my uncles and even our family friends and all, they would come in from the office, they would sit. The wife who was been working all through the day would be taking care of them. I mean, in so many ways. And the women were the first ones to get up. They still are, and the last ones to sleep. I mean, that is still there. But still this conflict was there in my mind, that why were we considered weak? I mean, we are super strong. And what happened is, when I started doing my weight training and started learning about it, I realized, and then that thing came that I realized that we carry children. I mean, like, can you believe carrying a life within you for 9 months, going through all those changes, carrying that weight, if not anything? So why then? This was a very, very important revelation to me. And that is what I imbibed when I started running the gym. I kept on telling girls that, why shouldn't we make ourselves physically strong when we are actually strong? It is just like realizing you are who you are. And there are so many curtains of conditioning that those are put in women's mind, which makes them believe that they're less. And this is one thing that I have worked for a long, long time. I've always seen that it's not about being better than someone. It's just realizing that you are as good. I mean, if you give yourself the chance.
See, life is not a
That's one thing.
competition. You're not trying to win all the
Yeah.
time. You're just trying to make a place for yourself and getting,
Absolutely.
acknowledgement or the appreciation that you deserve. Absolutely. So,
And that conditioning, one thing I would just add, that conditioning was there in our minds more than it was.
yes.
It was like a normal thing, to recondition a mind is a very difficult, very challenging, very gratifying work. So
Yeah.
that is right.
Okay. So tell me, as you were growing up, was having a career a given for you, or did you have to kind of struggle to start working or anything like that?
No, career was very important. From day one, we were told that career, you have to have a career. That was fortunately, that was a blessing for me. I mean, there was no debate that you will not work or you will not be economically independent or stable. But over a period of time, I think the idea of career changes, as and when we go about our lives. You start working, then you go through different phases. So that change has happened. My understanding of my work has changed, but no, career was always there.
All right. So tell us a bit about some of the challenges that you may have faced in your journey. I mean, in your profession, in whatever you chose to do, along with challenges that you may have faced as a woman.
Well, see, the challenges I have faced in my career, they've been very different, Sangeeta. For the longest time, and I find it very harsh to say this. I mean, I would want things to be otherwise, but challenges, one of the challenge that I have faced very early in my career came from mothers, mothers of my clients. Okay. Which is a very, very strange, it was very strange for me to go through that. What had happened is, when we started, like in 1990s or early 2000 and all, women only entered a health club before their marriage. At least 90% of my clients, they wanted to look a certain way.
Yeah.
Become thinner, drop a couple of kilos before your marriage and all. And it was so normal that you did not question it. So that was the scary part. As a person who I am right now, I feel that it was so scary that I never questioned that. Why would you want to change yourself to fit into a new life? You should go as who you are and become more. So that idea wasn't there. So what happened is, I would play along. I would kind of give them, the diet charts or whatever they needed. Then it struck me that, I should be encouraging them to do something more rather than just look a certain way. And we started doing a lot of strength training, build a lot of strength. And I started listening to the issues and you are a trainer and a client has a very close relationship.
Yes.
You start, and gym is a place where you are at your vulnerable best. You're not wearing makeup, you're not wearing good clothes, you're coming as who you are, probably.
Yeah.
So we became friends, and then we started talking about, and I told them that, just be happy with this phase. This is a beautiful phase, and, let's just enjoy the process. So strength training really used to liberate them, which I found very, very interesting. Like, not so much of cardio, not so much of aerobics, not so much of nutrition, but strength. The idea that you have a strong body and your core is strong kind of liberated them. Immediately. And there were so many times the mothers would come and argue with me that, no, don't make them build muscles. If they build muscles, they will lose their femininity. And again, I go back to what I had imbibed in my mind, that, I would argue with them, that I would go through that process of trying to tell them that femininity is not something. Feminine people are the strongest people in the world. So please don't. I mean, we worship goddesses. Goddess Durga is a sign of strength.
Yeah.
But sometimes I won, sometimes I lost. So that challenge continued. And then again, after a few years, like around 10 years back, it was again a very harsh reality. I started getting young girls, like, in the age group of 13 to 15, coming to me, joining my program to kind of with their health issues. At puberty, there were lots and lots of issues which were coming up. And I could see that's because of they're overweight. They are overweight. They're supposed to. And then when I started talking to them, I realized that there were so many mental health, little things, the stress, Suddenly you see your body changing, that's also a stress. You can't possibly talk about it openly, that's also a stress. And exercise kind of is a great equalizer as far as these things go, because when you exercise, you liberate yourself, more than anything. So they started coming, and we really had I had a kids group, and all 13, 15-year-olds used to come and they used to talk, and it was great. But then again, I had the struggle with the mothers who would come and say, no, they have to go for tuitions. So they can't come. You have to do whatever you have to do in the summer holidays, or you have to do what you have to do in the winter break. You can't, the exercise can't be a part of their lives. They're doing games in school. And that really broke my heart, because, school games is it is not up to the marks. So that was there. So that again, that struggle happened. Again, sometimes I lost, sometimes I won. So that was there. And so those are some of these challenges. But presently, I have a very different challenge. I don't give diet charts. I don't give exercise plan. I give a lifestyle plan. So what I work is on, I basically give strategies to empower you. I give you information so that you can cleanse your, whatever is your fitness goal, you achieve that. Yeah. And that tells, that kind of, discourages a lot of people from coming to me, because they said, if you're not going to give us anything written, how are we going to follow? And I said that it's not about following, it's about knowing. Yeah. So it's a different challenge now. Yeah. So that is there.
So I guess, different kinds of people, they come from their, level of understanding and what they are expecting. So I think that makes difference in, the way they understand or not understand what you are trying to do. Yeah.
So that's a challenge. I like those challenges. It's not that, but sometimes even after going through, when you cannot express yourself and you cannot communicate properly, that's when things, it's also self-reflecting for me, because I have improved my communication skills quite a lot in the last few years.
See, every challenge, it gives you the opportunity to learn. We don't have to look at a challenge in a negative way, It is a learning opportunity. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So tell me, Sudipta, you, of course, you have your own gym, so you're running, business in that sense, and you're a mother and you're a wife, and, all the various roles and all the various balls which women have to juggle. So how do you do that in your life? Is there any strategy that you've adopted, any mantra that you have, which you would like to share with us?
We'll see. I'm sure you would agree, we are multitaskers. Women are multitaskers. As a matter of fact, sometimes when I have a whole day to myself and I can do anything, I can't do anything, because my mind is constantly, going from one thing. So that is that. But secondly, for a long time, I used to believe that I have to do everything myself. And there are days when I could balance everything very well. There are days when I would fall flat on my face and, completely all over the place.
Yeah.
So that's when I realized that if I'm juggling so many hats, my family also should pitch in. All of us should wear different hats. So fortunately, I'm married to a wonderful, wonderful person, and who believes in helping out whenever he can. I live with my mother, so my mother is very active. Again, thankfully, because she also gyms with me. I don't have a gym right now. I'm a lifestyle consultant. For 25 years, I've run a gym. So, she started exercising. So that's a good thing to have an active parent in your house. And my son is now 14. So I make sure everyone does that. If I'm juggling a lot of things, I make sure all of us are doing it together. So that makes it fun also, and makes it easier on me also. So that's I think
that's how you do it.
I think all of us are like that. Eventually, we become like, we find out a way to do things properly.
Yes. So we have to look at our circumstances, our scheme of things, and accordingly find a way out. So that's a good idea, getting everybody to pitch in and, share their part of the burden. All right. So when you look back on your life, so of course you have miles to go, but when you look back now, what do you think has been your biggest success? So here I'm not talking about things like awards and accomplishments, but of course you could mention those as well. But what do you think has been the most fulfilling or enriching experience of your life?
Okay. I think what has changed over a period of time and has helped me to kind of do whatever I am doing right now is that there has been a shift in the way I perceive things. There is literally a lot of shift. I mean, when I look back, and as I said, I do a lot of self-reflecting. So I realized that there has been a shift as far as how I perceive success. Initially, it was about getting something, achieving something. And now I've realized it's how I travel, how I go through this journey. So I consciously make an effort to be positive, to learn from things and fail forward. I think that's one of my big, and it has taken time. It's not that I have perfected it or I know, but I consciously am mindful of that, So that's one of the things I think has helped me achieve, and I'm proud of that. That's one of the things. As of my family, my son, my husband, and my work, I think they are my blessings. Okay. They're the proof that I'm living my life right. So then I can't say they are my success because they are my blessings. I mean, I know I'm living a good life when I look at it.
All right. Okay. Great. So, all right. Every day is not the same. There are days when we are like low and we are like, not really motivated and inspired to do anything. So how do you pull yourself out of those blues or those, lows of life?
Okay. Those days are actually quite a bit. I mean, it's not that you can say that those days are less. But eventually I realized that they become less as and when you have a routine. So I like to follow a routine, no matter what I'm going through. I have a daily routine. So I get up at a certain time. I do my exercise or workout at a certain time. I have a writing ritual which I follow. So no matter what I'm going through, I try and follow a certain routine. Even if I'm not feeling too well, or if I'm not feeling up to it. And, so that I think has helped me to kind of pull myself out of a situation. And as in when you start doing more things, you realize okay, fine, this is it. I mean, you become a little better in handling the disappointments or the blue days of your life.
Okay. So basically you say that if you follow a routine and you stick to it and you're disciplined about it, it will help you get through those kind of things. All right. So where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Yeah, that's a tough one, actually. So see, 10 years back, I did not see myself where I am today.
Yeah.
So, but life has brought me here, and I feel that, I mean, it might sound a little dreamy, but I would like to give universe that opportunity to surprise me. I would hope that I'm that relevant to it 10 years. But yes, there are parts of me which I would want to carry 10 years from now, what I have achieved now. Yeah. And that would be my ability. I would hope that I can imagine a little more fearlessly, be a little more spontaneous with my expression without, thinking about what the others are going to say and all that. And of course, carry my health, my ability to remain fit, if, at least as fit as I am now, or probably more. So these are the three things that I want to carry 10 years later. Rest, I hope universe finds me relevant and surprises me.
So you're manifesting that. I'm sure universe is listening. We'll have something.
I hope so. I hope so.
Sure. All right. So some of the learnings of your life, would you like to share with us? I mean, what are the lessons or certain things which you think life has taught you?
Okay. So there are things which I have learned in the course of my work. There are a few things as I've learned as a person, some things that. So first is I've learned that knowledge is your superpower. You have to learn. It's the superpower. Because more than anything, it gives you the ability to earn the currency of life, and I feel the currency is trust. It's not money. Once you have the knowledge, you learn to trust people, people learn to trust you, and that helps your work, whatever you do. Yeah. Because at least in my line of work, trust is a very, very important thing. People share their lives with me. If I'm not trustworthy, or if I don't trust them, we can't achieve anything.
Correct.
That's one thing. As far as people or the clients or the kind of people I have met and worked with, I've realized that we fall into patterns, and breaking those patterns, those repetitive patterns, are the toughest thing for the person who's doing it vis-a-vis the person who's guiding them, for both.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important to have positive patterns, more positive, less negative patterns in our lives. And that's why I emphasize a lot on habit building whenever someone comes with any health goals. Habit building is a very, very important part of that. And secondly, I think I have also learned that information, we all seek information, but what we really want is implementation. Yeah. Someone can help us implement. So that's something which I have learned. And I extend that. Whenever I'm doing whatever work I'm doing, whatever program I'm designing, those are the few things I keep on the top. Like these are the around which I design whatever plan I'm.
Okay. All right. So now you, of course, chose a particular line of work and you've done very well for yourself. So now when you move around and meet people, so that could be men and women both, how do you think men and women or society in general take to successful women? How do they react to them or respond to them?
Okay, so see, my world, where I interact and all, they have been, I can't really say that there has been a great, I mean, whether I have, they have, yes, some have been intimidated for sure, but that is a very gender neutral thing. I mean, I can't say whether only men have been intimidated or women. But the one thing I've realized is that I also try to see what our world is our mirror. So I also don't get intimidated too soon, or I try to create a situation where, we are conversing rather than talking about ourselves. Okay. So that bit has helped, I think. But about the world in general, I think, yes, women still have to work a lot harder to find their place and get their voices heard. That's true. But in my world, it's been pretty okay. I mean, I think. They have taken to me. I mean, also I have a very small world. I mean, I'm not out there. So that I really can't say on that.
But in general, you think when women are successful, do people react positively, or are there any, like they're not very happy about it? I mean, what are your views on it?
I think generally, I think I see a lot of shift. Initially it was not this good. I mean. Worse was their achievements were not talked about. It's not even about not liking. They were completely ignored. I mean, you would come to know so and so has done so well in their career, like a generation before me.
Yeah.
Much later, while they're teaching their children or something. So that bit has changed. Now at least we are noticing women and doing well, and we are having an opinion of their existence. I think that is a very important shift that I see. And but yes, the general sense of intimidation is still there. I would say that we are still intimidated by women who are doing better than men or something.
Okay. So if you look around you, you will see a lot of people are, as I call it, shifting gears. They're moving from one profession to another, or what they had started out doing in their lives. They've now started doing different things, so taking to writing, or, poetry writing, or books, or gardening, or painting, or whatever you may call it. So why do you think it's happening? I mean, earlier we never had that. People, like, they followed one profession right till the end. So why are people doing that now?
Okay, so I think, one is, of course, I think they're going back to what they had missed out initially. Probably they wanted to do something and then life took them to a different place. So they're going back to doing that. Another thing is we are really becoming different people every decade. So maybe we have something new that has come up. But what I really like is, we are becoming explorers. So that bit I find very good. I mean, that's such a positive thing as far as our society goes, that we are now explorers. We believe that we can achieve whatever we feel like, or we are at least ready to experiment with our dream. Correct. And So that day, a friend of mine was telling me that, I found it very nice. He says we are becoming non-materialists and more of explorers. So that probably could be one of the things, people who are switching gears and we are not scared to take a chance on ourselves,
Yes.
So that I think is a very positive thing.
Anything else you think why earlier people couldn't do it? I mean, it's not that they did not have hobbies or interests. Why is it?
No, obviously. I think, so much of we were so conditioned to believe that life has to go a certain way. And they also forgot their dreams. I mean, you'll find so many people of our mother's generation or probably grandmother's generation. They never thought that they were worth it. Or it was worth exploring. Yeah. So I think over a period of time, and now that society is becoming more accepting of us,
yes,
so they're confident to explore that. So that is there, and that could be one of the reasons. But yes, we are becoming better. I mean, I'm an optimist that way. I think I believe that as a society we are evolving and we are allowing other people to be who they are. Well, so that could be.
And considering that there is so much awareness also around, like, because when you see other people, and there is so much information available, what is happening in different parts of the world and different parts of the country. So you do feel that if, somebody else can do it, then so can I. Yeah. There is so much information.
Absolutely.
Awareness.
So and, I see my mother. So I lost my father 3 years back and my mom's 80 now. And to go through that whole process, she took up classical singing.
Wow. Okay.
She used to sing at a certain, very early in life when she was in college or something, maybe she did. And then she would sing, not like sing. I mean, just basically just be interested in this. But she took it up. She said, this is, there's so many people doing so many things. And she, the good part is the future generation is now inspiring the previous generation. So, we are giving them that confidence, and probably young girls are giving us the confidence to explore. So it is working both ways.
Okay, so Sudipta, any piece of advice which you have for the young girls of today? I mean, girls who are just stepping out, in terms of their personal, professional lives, anything that you would like to, advise or tell them that they should keep in mind?
Well, the first thing that I would advise them is to never, ever compromise on their health. That's one thing that I would tell them, that never, ever. I mean, do whatever you can, but make yourself more aware, ask for help, do whatever you need to do, but never compromise on your health. And secondly, I know it's very difficult, but we are often told that competition is very important, but I would always tell them, look for collaboration. It's a much easier way to live your life. Collaborate. I know competition is important and we do compete. We end up competing with our own selves rather than the external world. And I have seen that manifest in a very, very difficult and different way later on when we grow up in life. All those issues and all that. So I would tell them that please collaborate whenever you can. Don't choose competition just without any rhyme or reason. And third is your health and your happiness is your responsibility. Make time for it. We all have this idea that, we will become successful, we will get this, and then we will be happy. But I think we should approach it in a little different way. We should aim for happiness. Everyone has their small little rituals. A particular lipstick makes you happy, wear it. A particular song makes you happy, hear it. Don't wait for the big thing to happen to let go of, not enjoy these little moments of life. And often, happiness gets overshadowed because we are told that how can you be happy with so little. I would hope that they remember that they can be happy with as little as much. The choice is theirs. And it's there, and they are aware, they are responsible. I mean, at least around me, when I see the younger generation, they're really doing very well for themselves.
They are.
So I would tell them that. And fourth is, please never stop surprising yourself. Always surprise yourself. Do something crazy. Do something different. But keep that element of surprise alive, always.
Yeah, I think that element of surprise is what, kind of rejuvenates and refreshes your life, because, all the time you're doing the same set of things, the mundane of life is definitely there. But if you do something crazy, do something, like that, which surprises you, obviously, that refreshes you in a big way. And I really like this thought of collaboration because, this is so positive. If you're competing, yes, compete, but compete with your own self. Try to become a better version of yourself and not compete with others. But definitely collaboration is a wonderful thing and very, very positive. Great, great. All right. So, Deepta, there's something that we've heard, and though I don't believe, but I would definitely like to hear your views on this, that we've always been told that a woman is a woman's worst enemy. Like something happens somewhere and they say, oh, she was a woman, so she kind of, made sure she did something which harmed the other woman. So is that true? Or is it just a myth
Not
that
really. No.
propagated?
I don't see. I don't believe so. I don't think women are women's worst enemy. At least in my line of work, whatever women I have. But yes, we often our actions somehow are such that we are misunderstood sometimes, or we are unable to understand what we are doing. That the self-preservation thing is so predominant sometimes that you end up doing something without thinking how that other person will feel. You're preserving your own self. So, those kind of actions are often misinterpreted. But I don't think consciously we try to harm another person. Even the one who's harming, they don't believe they're harming you. They believe they're preserving you.
Yes, that is
They
there.
would always have a justification why they did. And in personally, I have always found people who are not ready to allow other ideas to in their own lives. They're holding on to obsolete beliefs and archaic things, and those are the people who become the worst enemy for themselves also, for others also. So that's a very gender neutral thing that I have. But generally, I don't think we are out there to get anyone. I mean, we are there to just be who we are. And sometimes, yes, but we are misunderstood often. Or we do some things. So that is why, I keep on telling that we have to know what we want to do. Unless we are self-assured, we would end up doing some things which might be misunderstood. And to have these kind of adages going on and on over generations that women are women's worst enemy.
Yeah, and you're right. It depends on the person, and the person could be a man or a woman. You don't have to kind of just put that label on women. Even men could do that to other men. I think, yes, it's just my take is that it is a way to divide and rule because you make women feel like that. I feel men are equally, other men's enemies. It's not that it's only women specific. It depends on your personality. Yeah.
And also, this is something to do with your personal space and personal boundaries. So sometimes the personal boundaries are so vague. Like that is there. We see in our lives also. We are not constantly making those boundaries that you be there, I be here. So when the boundaries overlap, you tend to suddenly you realize that, okay, someone has crossed the boundaries so much. Now I have to push back. And since we are not thought to be people who are supposed to push back, we have been told that we never push back. So that kind of things. And when you are pushing back, you really don't care who you are pushing back. You're pushing back.
Yeah. That way it's gender neutral.
Gender neutral. So that is there.
Okay. So, Sudipta, finally, can a woman have it all?
I sure hope so. I mean, I'm aiming for that. I would want. But, as long as we know what is the all, then we can have it all.
That I think is very, very crucial. The definition of all has to be very, very clear in our heads. What is it that I want? Yeah.
What is it? But I recently I told a young client of mine, similar kind of conversation. So I said that, when I reach my habit all, I would want to add a couple of more to it. Because I don't want to wake up tomorrow morning and know that I have the full day. I don't have to do anything to achieve.
Yeah.
So I think as long as we know what all is, we can have it all. Absolutely.
And like you said, the all can change with time. It can, and what is my all today may not be my all tomorrow. And that I think is a sign of constant growth and evolution. Right?
Absolutely.
Not stopping yourself.
Right.
I've got
not
it,
stop.
but it doesn't mean that now I just sit back and, do nothing.
Yeah.
Yes, raise my targets, raise my ambitions, and increase the all.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Yes, that is good. Totally.
Okay.
You are probably one of the best examples of having it all, doing it all yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. Trying to do it, like I guess all of us. So
Yes.
thank you very much, Sudipta. It was indeed wonderful talking to you, getting your point of view. And, it's a very lightening and refreshing conversation because, everyone has their own way of looking at things. And it is always nice to know what are the various ways in which we can look at things. So thank you very much for being on the show. And I hope you enjoyed being here.
Absolutely, Sangeeta. It was my pleasure. And it was so comfortable talking to you because these are the kind of questions I think we all have.
Yes.
It's just that we don't ever have, we are not confident to talk about it, sometimes, and we don't have a great listener. Sometimes you are a great listener. So, so it was a pleasure being.
Okay.